The wedding invitations mock me from across the dining room table, their cream-colored elegance a stark contrast to the turmoil churning inside my chest. At 48, I thought I'd outgrown this feeling, this tightness that comes whenever I think of my father. The modern art pieces I've created over the years hang on the walls around me, silent witnesses to my decades-long struggle with family. I've been staring at these invitations for nearly 2 hours now, my Mont Blanc pen hovering over the address list, stuck on one particular name that should be simple to write, but isn't, Walter. My phone buzzes against the glass surface of the table. It's Rachel. Even after all these years, seeing Mom flash on my screen brings a small smile to my face. Have you started addressing them yet? Her voice carries that familiar warmth, even with the underlying concern. Sort of. I twist a strand of silver-streaked hair around my finger, a habit I thought I'd broken 30 years ago. My gallery opening is in 2 weeks, and here I am, procrastinating over wedding invitations like a nervous bride half my age. Walter's name? The weight of understanding in that single question makes my throat tighten. Even at 70, Mom's intuition is razor sharp. I can't invite her, Mom. I won't. The words rush out as if I've been holding them back for decades, which, in truth, I have. It's been 25 years of this nonsense. 25 years of Vivian making everything about her. Claire, honey, it's your wedding. Your day. She pauses, and I can picture her sitting in that sunlit kitchen of hers, surrounded by the pottery she creates, Edward probably reading the newspaper nearby. But you know what this means. I do. The memories flood back, Walter's absent chair at gallery openings, at award ceremonies, at every milestone that might have given us a chance to reconnect. Vivian's perfectly crafted texts about his sudden migraines, the same miraculous migraines that cleared up the day after my first major exhibition, the same convenient illness that kept him from my book signing. He won't come without her, I say, tracing the embossed edges of an envelope with my fingertip, feeling the texture like I would examine a new canvas. No, I don't think he will. The honesty in her voice is refreshing. Rachel has never sugarcoated the truth, not even when it hurts. I stare out the window of my Manhattan apartment, at the cityscape I've grown to love. But I can't watch her play the doting stepmother for one more event. Not this time. Not at my wedding. Thomas's footsteps echo from the kitchen, the familiar sound grounding me. He appears with 2 cups of tea in hand, setting one beside me without a word. His presence steadies me, the way he's done since we met at my gallery 3 years ago. At 50, with silver threading through his dark hair, he looks distinguished in that way only professors can manage. Remember what happened at Jessica's wedding? Mom asks gently. How could I forget? Vivian, resplendent in white, upstaging the bride, the way she clung to Walter's arm all evening, steering him away whenever I approached, her theatrical tears during the father-daughter dance, lamenting loudly how she'd never have that moment herself. That's exactly why I can't invite her. I take a sip of the tea Thomas has brought, letting its warmth spread through my chest. The taste of lavender and chamomile, he always knows what I need. I won't let her make my wedding about her trauma of never having children again. Not when I'm finally doing this at 48. Your father will be hurt. Walter's been hurting me for 25 years, I say, the words tasting bitter on my tongue despite the sweet tea. Ever since he let her move into our house 2 months after you left. Do you remember when she threw out all my college artwork because it cluttered the living room? I remember. Mom's voice hardens, and I hear the protective edge that still emerges when she talks about those days. I also remember her telling you that your art was just a hobby, right before your college graduation show. Thomas's hand finds my shoulder, squeezing gently. His touch anchors me, reminds me I'm no longer that hurt 18-year-old girl. He knows these stories. All of them. I'm addressing the invitation to Walter only, I say finally, putting pen to paper. My handwriting is steady despite the trembling inside my chest. If he chooses not to come, that's his decision, not mine. Are you ready for the fallout? Mom's question hangs in the air. No, I admit, but I write anyway. Walter Matthews, no and guest, no Vivian. Just my father's name alone on the cream-colored envelope, like a challenge across 25 years of silence. But I have to be. I seal the envelope before I can change my mind. It's time he chose, really chose, between us. After hanging up, I stack the addressed invitations neatly, leaving Walter's on top. Tomorrow they'll all go to the post office. Tomorrow I'll set this long overdue war in motion. But tonight, I curl into Thomas's arms on the couch, trying to ignore the notification light blinking on my phone. It's probably Vivian asking about wedding plans she has no right to know about, or maybe it's Walter with another excuse for missing our scheduled coffee last month. Either way, I'm done pretending, done playing the dutiful daughter while she orchestrates my father's disappearing act. The invitation sits on the table, a white flag-turned weapon. Let the war begin. At 48, I've finally found the courage to fight it. Phone call scene. 3 days after mailing the invitations, Walter's number lights up my phone during lunch break. My stomach drops like it did when I was a teenager, but I answer anyway, stepping away from my desk at the gallery. The current exhibition, a series of emerging textile artists I've been mentoring, will have to wait. I just got your invitation. His voice sounds tired, older than I remember, though we spoke briefly last Christmas. At 72, he's finally showing signs of age. There must have been a mistake. No mistake, Walter. I lean against the cool brick wall of the storage room, grateful for its solidity. My gallery, the culmination of 20 years of work, suddenly feels like the only stable thing in my life. The invitation is just for you. Claire, he says my name the way he used to when I was young and being difficult about bedtime, that mixture of exasperation and thinly veiled affection. You know I can't come without Vivian. She's my wife. And I'm your daughter. The words scratch my throat as they emerge, carrying 25 years of neglect. Or at least I used to be. A long silence follows, filled with missed dinners and empty chairs at gallery openings. I hear papers shuffling on his end, always at his office when Vivian doesn't want him somewhere else, even though he supposedly retired 5 years ago. Is this about Christmas? He asks finally. Because we already explained that Vivian wasn't feeling well, and it's about everything. I check my vintage watch, Thomas's gift for my last birthday. 5 minutes until my next client meeting. It's about every time you've chosen her over me since I was 18. That's not fair. I've never. Last month, I cut in, my voice steadier than I feel. I invited you to dinner, just you. You said yes, then suddenly you had a work emergency. I did. His protest sounds practiced, rehearsed. I saw you, Walter. The memory still stings, sharper than I'd like to admit. At Marcello's with Vivian the same night, the same time I'd asked you to meet me at Carlos. You were laughing over wine while I sat alone for an hour. Another silence, heavier this time. I imagine him at his desk, pinching the bridge of his nose like he always does when confronted with an uncomfortable truth. The gesture so familiar it hurts. She'd had a rough day, he says finally, voice small. She needed me. The gallery door chimes. Through the storage room window, I see Jessica arriving early for our meeting about her latest photography series. At 45, she's been more than my gallery manager for the past decade, she's been the sister I never had. She catches my eye and mouths, "You okay?" I manage a weak nod. "Look, Walter, I'll talk to Vivian. Maybe we can work something out." No. The word comes out sharper than I intended, echoing against the brick. No more negotiations, no more compromises. The invitation is for you alone. It's your choice whether to come or not. You're putting me in an impossible position. The architect who once designed award-winning buildings sounds suddenly helpless. Welcome to my world. I straighten up, squaring my shoulders, feeling every one of my 48 years. I have to go. I have a client waiting. Wait, please. He pauses, and I hear Vivian's voice in the background asking who he's talking to. After all these years, her voice still makes my skin crawl. Can we discuss this over dinner? Sure, Walter. I manage to keep my voice steady despite the sudden hope fluttering against my ribs. But just you. Friday at 7 o'clock at Carlos. If Vivian shows up, I walk. I end the call before he can respond and join Jessica in the gallery. The abstract paintings surrounding us, bold strokes of color against white space, suddenly seem to mirror my emotional state. Jessica takes one look at my face and pulls me into a hug, her familiar scent of coffee and oil paints comforting. Your dad? I nod against her shoulder. He got the invitation, and now we wait to see if he remembers how to be a father instead of just a husband. Jessica squeezes my hand. Her straight-talking nature is why I hired her, why we've remained friends. For what it's worth, I think you're brave standing up to them like this. 25 years is a long time to stay quiet. I don't feel brave. I move to my desk, pulling out her wedding portfolio. The irony isn't lost on me, helping with her wedding photos while my own wedding plans stir up decades of family drama. I feel like that 18-year-old girl again, watching him choose someone else over and over. But this time, you're choosing yourself. She sits across from me, her expression serious. That counts for something. I open the portfolio but pause before starting our review. Jess, do you think he'll come to dinner? I mean, really? She considers for a moment, the honesty that's defined our friendship evident in her thoughtful pause. I think he'll want to, but Vivian won't let him, I finish. Yeah, that's what I think too. The gallery door chimes again, and we turn to business, but my phone sits heavy in my pocket, waiting for a confirmation that probably won't come, just like every other time I've reached for my father across the chasm Vivian built between us. Friday's dinner reservation feels less like hope and more like proof, one more empty chair to add to my collection of paternal absences. Restaurant scene, Friday night at Carlos. I sit alone at a table for two, watching the minutes tick by on my phone. 7:15. 7:30. The waiter's pitying glances sting more than Walter's absence, a familiar humiliation that feels no easier at 48 than it did at 23. My water glass is nearly empty when the restaurant door opens. For a moment, hope flutters in my chest, foolish, childish hope that never seems to die, but it's Patricia, Vivian's friend from her book club, walking in with her husband. She spots me and freezes, guilt flashing across her face before she quickly looks away. The expensive lighting in this Michelin-starred restaurant hides nothing, not her discomfort, not my disappointment. I'm gathering my things to leave, dignity still somewhat intact, when she approaches my table, wringing her hands. At 60, she looks elegant but nervous, her eyes darting around as if checking for witnesses. Claire, I think there's something you should know. She glances around nervously. I'm actually just. It's about your father and tonight. Another nervous glance. Vivian was at book club yesterday, talking about how she'd made sure Walter wouldn't come. The world tilts slightly beneath my feet. 25 years of suspicions crystallize in an instant. What do you mean, made sure? Patricia lowers her voice, leaning closer. She said she'd hidden his phone while he was in the shower, then called his office pretending to be his assistant, something about an emergency client meeting tonight that couldn't wait. My fingers go numb around my purse strap. The crystal stemware on the table catches the light, fracturing it into tiny rainbows that seem to mock the darkness gathering inside me. What? She was laughing about it, saying she'd rather die than let him have dinner alone with you, that she'd worked too hard to. Patricia stops abruptly, color draining from her face. I turn to see what she's looking at. Vivian stands in the doorway, her perfectly coiffed silver hair and tailored cream pantsuit radiating the practiced elegance of old money. At 62, she maintains the beauty that first captured my father's attention, but her perfectly painted smile turns glacial as she takes in the scene before her. "Patricia, darling." Her voice carries across the restaurant, turning heads. "I didn't expect to see you here." Before either of us can respond, she glides over to our table, her perfume always too strong, always too sweet, preceding her. "Claire, sweetheart. Did your father not tell you he has an important meeting tonight? But I thought I'd stop by to keep you company instead." The lie rolls off her tongue so smoothly, I almost doubt Patricia's story, almost. After 25 years of similar coincidences, the pattern is too clear to ignore. "How thoughtful," I manage, the words tasting like ash. "But I was just leaving." "Oh, but I insist." She slides into the empty chair, Walter's chair, as if she belongs there. Her manicured hands rest on the table, adorned with rings that cost more than my first gallery lease. We have so much to discuss about the wedding, like why my invitation seems to have gotten lost in the mail. Patricia backs away, mouthing "I'm sorry" before fleeing to her waiting husband. I don't blame her. Vivian's smile hasn't reached her eyes in 25 years, and at 62, the effect is more chilling than ever. It wasn't lost. I meet her gaze steadily, mustering all the strength I've built as a successful gallery owner who's navigated the cutthroat New York art scene. It was never sent. "I see." She signals the waiter without breaking eye contact. "2 glasses of Pinot Grigio, please." The waiter, sensing tension, hurries away. "Now, about this childish behavior of yours. Did you really think I wouldn't find out?" Her smile remains fixed, a porcelain mask. "About the phone, the fake emergency?" The words escape before I can stop them, but I don't regret them. Not anymore. Her smile doesn't waver, but something cold flickers in her eyes. "I'm sure I don't know what you mean." "You know exactly what I mean." The decades of frustration, of missed connections, of manipulations crystallize into a diamond-hard anger. "You've been doing this for years, haven't you? Every time Walter tries to see me alone. Your father is a busy man." Her dismissive tone implies I'm being unreasonable, a tactic I recognize from countless family gatherings. "My father is a puppet." I stand up, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. Several diners turn to look, but for once, I don't care about making a scene. At 48, with my own successful career and pending marriage, I'm finally beyond caring what others think. "And you're so terrified of losing control that you can't let him spend 2 hours with his own daughter." She reaches for my arm, her manicured nails digging in slightly. "Sit down. People are staring." "Good." I pull free, feeling something break loose inside me, something that's been bound and gagged for 25 years. "Let them stare. Let them see exactly who you are. I am your father's wife." Her voice rises slightly, the first crack in her perfect facade. "You're nothing but a scared, manipulative woman who couldn't have children of her own, so you made sure no one else could have their father either." The words are cruel, but after decades of her subtle cruelties, I can't find it in me to care. The slap echoes through the restaurant. My cheek burns, but satisfaction floods through me as heads turn, as witnesses murmur and point. Finally, her mask has cracked for all to see. "Thank you," I say quietly, gathering my things. My voice carries in the sudden silence of the restaurant. "For proving exactly why you're not welcome at my wedding." I leave her there, surrounded by whispers and stares, her carefully constructed facade lying in shards around her like broken glass. In my car, I text Walter, "Ask Vivian about my cheek when she gets home. Ask her why everyone at Carlos saw her hit me. Then ask yourself why you're really missing dinner tonight." The response comes instantly, "What are you talking about?" I'm in an emergency meeting. I turn off my phone and drive away, leaving him to his comfortable lie and her to her crumbling control. Some battles aren't worth fighting. Some wars are won by walking away. As I drive through the city streets, the lights blur through tears I refuse to acknowledge. At 48, I'm too old to cry over the father who never chose me, but the 18-year-old girl inside me still weeps for what might have been. Gallery scene. The bruise on my cheek fades to yellow by the time Walter finally shows up at the gallery. 3 days of ignored calls, and now he stands among the abstract paintings, looking lost in their chaos of color and shape. At 72, he seems smaller somehow, diminished among the bold art pieces that define my life's work. You could have called first, I say, not looking up from my laptop. A potential buyer from London has questions about an emerging artist I'm representing, and the irony isn't lost on me. I'm more invested in nurturing new talent than my own father ever was in supporting mine. Would you have answered? He moves closer, stopping at the edge of my desk. His eyes linger on my face. Your cheek, the makeup helps. I click through another email, pretending my hands aren't shaking. I'm surprised you noticed, though I'm sure Vivian told you it never happened. She said you were hysterical, that you knocked into her hand when she tried to calm you down. A laugh escapes me, sharp and bitter. And you believed her? Of course you did. 25 years of the same pattern, yet it still has the power to wound. I don't know what to believe anymore. He picks up a framed photo from my desk, me and Jessica at her wedding last year. Everyone's telling different stories. Have you ever considered asking yourself why your wife needed to sabotage a dinner with your daughter? The question hangs in the air between us, surrounded by artwork that speaks of emotion, of truth, of seeing beneath surfaces. Things Walter has never been particularly good at. Before he can answer, the gallery door chimes. Thomas walks in, stopping short when he sees Walter. His jaw tightens, but he keeps his voice neutral. Mr. Matthews. Interesting timing. Walter nods stiffly. His architecture awards and professional accolades mean nothing in this space, my space. I was just leaving. Thomas sets down a takeout bag on my desk. The scent of Thai food, my favorite, fills the air. Or just making excuses? I can never tell with you. His calm professor's demeanor barely conceals the protective edge in his voice. This is between me and my daughter. Walter's architect's pride surfaces, the authority that once commanded boardrooms. Nothing's been between you and your daughter for 25 years. Thomas moves to stand beside me, his presence steady and warm against the chill that always accompanies conversations with my father. That's the problem. Walter's face reddens. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I stand finally, meeting his eyes. The decades between us clarify rather than blur with age. You know what today is? He blinks, confused, the celebrated architect suddenly at a loss. I wonder if he's ever been this disoriented designing a building. It's the anniversary of Mom's wedding to Edward 8 years ago. You promised to come to the reception, remember? Just for an hour, just to show we could all be civil. I had a migraine. The excuse sounds hollow even to him, I can tell. That's what Vivian told everyone. But Patricia saw you both at the country club that afternoon, perfectly healthy. Heaven forbid you attend your ex-wife's wedding and make your daughter happy. That's not, he stops, looking trapped between the truth and the story he's been telling himself. It was complicated. It's always complicated with you, Walter. My voice rises despite my efforts to maintain professional composure in my own gallery. Every gallery opening, every award ceremony, every milestone, there's always some reason you can't show up. And they all lead back to her. She's my wife. The familiar refrain, the justification for 25 years of absence. And I'm your daughter, the words echo off the gallery walls, bouncing between paintings worth more than the house I grew up in, or I was before you let her erase me from your life. Silence falls, broken only by the soft hum of the gallery's track lighting. Walter sinks into a chair, suddenly looking every bit his 72 years. I never meant to choose, he says quietly, the weight of decades in his voice. But you did. Every time. I pick up the wedding photo he'd been looking at. You know who walked Jessica down the aisle that day? Edward, my stepfather. The man who showed up to every art show, every birthday, every moment that mattered. He chose to be there, even though he didn't have to. Claire, please. The architect who designed award-winning structures is crumbling before me. I'm not finished. My voice stays steady, even as tears threaten. Years of gallery negotiations have taught me how to maintain composure when it matters most. You have one last chance to choose, Walter, my wedding. Just you. Being my father for one day. He stands slowly, reaches for me, then lets his hand fall. The gesture encapsulates our entire relationship, almost connecting, but never quite making it. I don't know if I can. I know. I turn away, back to my desk, to the life I've built without him. That's the saddest part. He lingers by the door, like he wants to say more, but in the end, he leaves without another word, the door chiming softly behind him. Thomas wraps his arms around me as I finally let the tears fall. You okay? His voice is gentle against my hair. No. I lean into him, watching through the window as Walter's car pulls away. 25 years of disappointment crystallized in one more retreat. But I will be. Sometimes letting go hurts less than holding on. The takeout grows cold on my desk as we stand there, surrounded by abstract paintings that suddenly make perfect sense, beautiful things born from chaos, whole pictures made of broken pieces. At 48, I'm finally old enough to understand both the chaos and the beauty. House sale scene. A week before the wedding, Rachel calls with the news I've been dreading: your father's selling the house. I nearly drop my coffee mug, the ceramic piece I bought from Rachel's last pottery exhibition. The house. My childhood home, where my height marks still climb the kitchen doorframe, where my earliest paintings once hung in what used to be my bedroom. He can't. Vivian's already listed it. Patricia told me. Mom's voice carries a mix of anger and resignation. They're showing it tomorrow. My hands shake as I pull up the listing on my phone. There it is, the Victorian with the red door, the garden where Walter taught me to plant sunflowers when I was 7, the bay window where I used to read for hours, dreaming of becoming an artist. The description calls it a blank canvas, ready for new memories, as if ours never existed. Claire? Mom's voice softens. Are you there? I have to go. I end the call, grab my keys, and drive across town before I can think better of it. The for sale sign looks wrong in the front yard, like a headstone marking the death of something precious. The familiar drive feels longer at 48 than it did at 18, each mile weighted with memories. I park across the street, watching a realtor lead a young couple through the front door. My door. A familiar car pulls up behind me. Jessica, of course. Mom called her. She slides into my passenger seat without a word, just hands me a tissue I didn't know I needed. I was going to tell you, she says quietly. I saw the listing this morning. Did you know they're gutting it? My voice cracks. 25 years of professional art dealings, and I still can't maintain composure about this house. The listing says major renovation potential. They're erasing everything. Maybe you could buy it? Jessica suggests, always practical. I laugh bitterly. Vivian made sure that wasn't possible. The asking price is double what it's worth. Another calculated cruelty, another way to ensure the past stays buried. Movement at the house catches my eye. Vivian emerges onto the porch, elegant in cream linen, playing the perfect hostess to the potential buyers. She spots my car and falters for just a moment before her smile returns, wider and sharper. Even from this distance, I can feel the triumph radiating from her. She's doing this on purpose, I whisper, my artist's eye catching the subtle performance she's putting on. The timing, the price. It's punishment for the wedding invitation. Don't, Jessica starts, but I'm already out of the car, crossing the street with purpose. Vivian's smile freezes as I approach. Darling, her voice carries across the lawn, warning wrapped in sugar, what a lovely surprise. The couple turns, curious. They look to be in their 30s, hopeful, excited about their future and my past. I recognize the woman's expression, the same one I wore at 14, believing this house could be a fresh start. I should warn you, I say to them, ignoring Vivian's attempt to interrupt. The foundation's unstable, has been for years. That's not, Vivian starts, but I press on. The basement floods every spring, the wiring in the east wing is original, dangerous, really, and the attic, I meet Vivian's gaze, decades of resentment crystallizing into this moment, well, let's just say some things up there can't be renovated away. The couple exchanges worried glances. Vivian's perfectly manicured nails dig into her palms. I notice she's wearing the diamond Walter bought her for their 20th anniversary, the year he missed my first major gallery opening. Perhaps we should continue the tour inside, she suggests smoothly, but the damage is done. I can see it in their faces, the seed of doubt has been planted. Of course, I smile, sweet as poison. Don't forget to check the kitchen doorframe. The height marks there tell quite a story about family, about promises kept and broken. Claire, her voice drops, all pretense gone now that the couple has retreated toward their car. Leave. Now. Or what, you'll slap me again? There are witnesses this time. The couple backs further away, murmuring excuses. The realtor follows, already on her phone, probably calling other clients to cancel tomorrow's showings. You spiteful little, I learned from the best. I turn to leave, then pause. Oh, and Vivian, the attic. I left something there years ago, a diary, detailing everything you did, every manipulation, every lie. I wonder what Walter would think if someone found it during the renovation. Her face pales beneath her perfect makeup. We both know there's no diary, but the possibility will eat at her, make her question every creak and shadow in that old house. At 62, her carefully constructed world has fewer foundations than she thinks. As I walk away, Jessica falls into step beside me. There's no diary, is there? No. The admission comes with a small smile. But she'll never be sure. I get back in my car, watching Vivian through the rearview mirror as she stands alone on the porch, her perfect world cracking around her. Sometimes the best revenge isn't what you do, it's what you make them think you might do. At 48, I finally understand the power of suggestion, something Vivian has wielded against me for 25 years. The symmetry feels like justice, like reclaiming a piece of myself long surrendered. The house may be lost, but perhaps something else is being found. Letters seen. 2 days before my wedding, Walter shows up at my apartment unannounced. His hands tremble as he holds out a manila envelope that looks worn around the edges, as if he's been carrying it for days, uncertain whether to deliver it. Vivian found this in the attic. My stomach drops. There was no diary, I'd made that up. But something in his expression tells me she found something worse. What is it? The question comes out softer than intended. The hallway light catches the silver in his hair, so much more than when I last really looked at him. He pulls out a stack of letters, their edges worn soft with age. I recognize Rachel's handwriting immediately, the artistic flourish to her script that influenced my own. Letters she wrote me during our separation, before the divorce. His voice cracks. Before Vivian. The implications hit me like a physical blow, letters that could change everything or destroy what little remains of my family. At 48, I thought I was beyond being shocked by my parents' past, but the tremor in my hand as I reach for them proves otherwise. She's threatening to show them to Rachel, I say. It's not a question. Even after 25 years, I know how Vivian operates. He nods, sinking onto my couch, the expensive leather piece that was the first thing I bought when my gallery started turning a profit. Unless you publicly apologize to her, invite her to the wedding, make things right. The words sound rehearsed, as if Vivian dictated them directly. Make things right. The laugh that escapes me sounds foreign, almost hysterical. Like when she made things right by destroying every photo of Mom in the house, or when she made things right by convincing you to miss my college graduation. Claire, please. His architect's hands that once designed buildings that won international awards, fidget with the envelope's edge. Your mother, these letters could hurt her. Hurt Edward. So you're here to protect Mom? That's new. The bitterness in my voice surprises even me. His face hardens. I'm trying to protect everyone. No, you're trying to protect yourself. I snatch the letters from his hands. What's really in these, Walter? What are you afraid of? Before he can stop me, I unfold the first one. Rachel's familiar script fills the page. Gideon, I know about her, about the affair. I can forgive the betrayal, but lying to Claire, the room spins as 30 years of family history rewrites itself before my eyes. You were seeing Vivian before the divorce, while you and Mom were just taking a break, while you told me everything would be okay. He reaches for the letters, but I back away, reading faster. Each page reveals another lie, another betrayal. Mom had known everything, had offered forgiveness for my sake, and he'd chosen Vivian anyway. How long? My voice sounds distant, hollow, as if coming from someone else, perhaps the 18-year-old I once was, learning that everything I believed about my family was a lie. How long were you seeing her before you left us? 6 months. He won't meet my eyes, the celebrated architect suddenly unable to face his own design flaws. She understood me, understood how to manipulate you, you mean. I throw the letters onto the coffee table, the antique piece Thomas and I found in a small shop in Vermont. Get out. Claire, if you just talk to Vivian, get out. Each word feels like glass in my throat. And tell your wife she can do whatever she wants with those letters. I'm done protecting your lies. He stands slowly, age and guilt weighing heavy on his shoulders. You don't mean that. Think about your mother. Mom survived your betrayal once. She built something beautiful with Edward. These letters, I gesture at them dismissively, they're just proof she was right to leave you. And what about your wedding? You'd really want me to miss it? The question hangs between us, 25 years of missed moments condensed into one final choice. I look at him, really look at him, for the first time in years. At 72, the celebrated architect has designed his last building, but hasn't learned to construct an honest relationship. You've been missing from my life since the day you chose her. The empty chair at my wedding will just make it official. After he leaves, I sink to the floor, letters scattered around me like fallen leaves. The girl I was at 18 would have cried. The woman I am at 48 just feels tired. Tired of lies, tired of manipulations, tired of hoping for a father who never showed up. My phone buzzes, a text from Vivian, your father told you our terms. You have 24 hours to decide. Another buzz follows, family peace comes at a price, darling. Are you ready to pay it? I block her number, then Walter's. With shaking hands, I gather the letters and reach for my phone again. Mom, can you come over? There's something you should know. Sometimes the truth hurts more than lies, but at least it's honest pain, at least it's real. And maybe, just maybe, it's time everyone's truth came to light. As I wait for Rachel to arrive, I look around my apartment, filled with art I've collected and created over decades, photographs of friends who became family, mementos of a life built on my own terms. At 48, I've finally constructed something Vivian can't tear down, and Walter can't walk away from: my own truth, my own strength, my own family of choice. Wedding day scene. The morning of my wedding dawns clear and bright, but I'm not at the venue. Instead, I'm standing in front of my childhood home, watching Patricia hurry down the front walk, her face pale beneath her carefully applied makeup. At 60, she moves with surprising speed, glancing nervously over her shoulder as if expecting Vivian to materialize behind her. "I had to tell you," she says, clutching her designer purse like a shield. "Vivian's been planning this for weeks. She told Walter she found a lump, made him promise to take her to the hospital today. She's making him miss your wedding over a lie." My wedding dress hangs in a garment bag at the gallery, where Rachel and Jessica are probably wondering where I am. But this is my last chance to break Vivian's hold on my father. After 30 years, the time for half measures is past. I stride up the familiar path, my key still fitting the lock despite everything. The muscle memory of opening this door, something I've done thousands of times, feels both foreign and achingly familiar. Inside, Vivian stands at the foot of the stairs in a silk robe, her perfectly made-up face betraying no surprise at my arrival. At 62, she still maintains the beauty that first captured Walter's attention, though now it's preserved through expensive procedures and carefully applied cosmetics. "Shouldn't you be getting ready for your big day?" Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. "Oh, wait, there won't be a father-daughter dance now, will there?" Drop the act. My voice is steady, calmer than I feel. The foyer looks smaller than I remember, the expensive furnishings she's added over the decades failing to disguise the bones of the house I once loved. "Patricia told me everything. There is no lump, is there?" Patricia should learn to keep her mouth shut. Vivian's facade cracks slightly, the perfect socialite mask slipping to reveal the calculation beneath. But it doesn't matter. Walter's already left for the hospital, such a devoted husband, don't you think? Why? The question bursts from me, encompassing 30 years of manipulation and pain. Why go to such lengths to keep him away? "Because you need to understand." She steps closer, her perfume always too strong, always too expensive, cloying in the morning air. "He's mine now, has been since before your mother knew, and I won't let you take him back." "Take him back?" I laugh, the sound echoing in the empty foyer where I once played as a child. "I don't want him back. I want him to see you, really see you. He sees exactly what he needs to see." She reaches for her phone, manicured nails tapping the screen with practiced precision. "Now, shouldn't you be leaving?" "I need to call Walter, tell him the news from the doctor." "No." I snatch the phone from her hand, feeling 18 and 48 simultaneously. "You're going to tell him the truth, all of it." "Or what?" Her smile turns cruel, the expression I remember from too many family dinners, too many missed events. "You'll show him those old letters? Break your mother's heart all over again? Face it, Claire, you've lost." Actually, a voice says from the doorway, she hasn't. We both turn. Walter stands there, still in his suit, car keys dangling from his hand. Behind him, Patricia gives me a slight nod before slipping away, her duty discharged. "Walter." Vivian's voice rises an octave, the perfect wife suddenly scrambling for composure. "What are you doing here?" "The hospital called them." He steps inside, looking older than I've ever seen him. "They have no record of any appointment." Just like they had no record of my emergency client meeting last month. He turns to me, and for the first time in decades, he truly sees me. "I wanted to believe her, Claire. I was protecting her." "You were controlling me," he says to Vivian, moving to stand beside me. For the first time in 30 years, we present a united front. "And I let you because it was easier than admitting what I'd done to Rachel, to Claire, to myself." Vivian's composure shatters. "Everything I did for us." "No." I touch Walter's arm, feeling him trembling beneath his expensive suit. You did it for yourself, and now you've lost everything. She lunges for her phone, but Walter catches her wrist. It's over, Vivian. I've already called a lawyer. The silence that follows feels like a thunderclap. Vivian sinks onto the stairs, her perfect mask finally crumbling completely. The woman who terrorized my youth suddenly looks small, diminished, pathetic. The wedding starts in 2 hours, I say quietly. Your choice, Walter, but this time make it for the right reasons. I leave them there, among the ruins of their carefully constructed lies. Outside, the morning sun feels warmer somehow, cleaner. My phone buzzes, a text from Jessica, where are you? Everyone's waiting. I take one last look at the house before typing my reply, on my way, and add, tell mom to save an extra seat, just in case. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone else's happiness, sometimes it's about finding your own and letting them watch from the outside. At 48, I've finally learned the difference. Wedding scene. The wedding venue's garden glows in the late afternoon light as I make my final adjustments in the bridal suite. The gallery, my gallery, transforms beautifully for the occasion, the current exhibition of emerging artists providing a perfect backdrop for a wedding that's been 48 years in the making. Rachel fusses with my veil while Jessica touches up my makeup, neither mentioning the empty chair I'd insisted on keeping in the front row. Something borrowed, Rachel says, fastening her mother's pearl bracelet around my wrist. At 70, her hands show signs of arthritis, but the artistic grace that defined her teaching career remains in every movement. Something blue, Jessica adds, tucking a small blue flower into my upswept hair. From my garden. A knock at the door makes us all freeze. Edward pokes his head in, his eyes suspiciously bright when he sees me ready. At 73, he still stands tall, the retired pediatrician who's been more of a father than Walter ever was. Sweetheart, almost time? He asks, his voice warm with affection. I smooth my dress, an elegant cream sheet that complements my figure rather than trying to pretend I'm half my age. Is everyone seated and waiting? He pauses, a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Including your father. The room goes still. Rachel's hands stop adjusting my veil, but she doesn't pull away. Alone? I ask quietly, hardly daring to hope. Edward nods. Vivian's not here, and from what I hear, she won't be anywhere near him for quite a while. Relief and something else, something lighter, floods through me, dissolving a tension I've carried for decades. But when I turn to Rachel, her face is unreadable. This woman who taught art to children for 30 years while raising me alone, who rebuilt her life after betrayal, who found love again with Edward, what must she be feeling? Are you okay with this? I ask her. With him being here? She smooths an invisible wrinkle from my dress. Honey, I made peace with your father's choices long ago, that's why I could build something beautiful with Edward. She glances at her husband, love evident in her smile. Sometimes the best revenge is living well. The ceremony music starts, soft and sweet, drifting through the gallery. Jessica squeezes my hand before slipping out to take her place. Rachel kisses my cheek and follows, leaving me alone with Edward. Last chance to change your mind about who walks you down the aisle, he says gently, offering his arm, the same arm that's supported me through every major moment since I was 18. Not a chance. I take his arm, feeling its strength and steadiness. You earned this spot years ago. The gallery path seems to glow as we walk, guests rising on either side. I see Patricia dabbing her eyes, see Rachel beaming from her seat, and there, in the front row, Walter sits alone, looking smaller somehow without Vivian beside him. Our eyes meet briefly as I pass. He nods once, and I notice the envelope on his lap, cream-colored, matching my invitations. I recognize my own handwriting, for after the ceremony, the letter I'd written last night after everything. Not an olive branch exactly, but not a burning bridge either, just truth finally spoken without anger or revenge clouding it. Thomas's face when he sees me makes everything else fade away. At 50, with silver threading through his dark hair, he looks at me with a love I never thought I'd find, a love worth waiting 48 years for. This moment, this love, is bigger than old hurts and family drama. As we exchange vows, I feel the weight of the past lifting, replaced by something lighter, freer. The photographs and paintings surrounding us, art that marks my life's work and passion, seem to bear witness to this transition, this healing. At the reception, Walter approaches cautiously, letter in hand. I read it, he says simply. Good. I don't offer more. I don't deserve forgiveness. No. I agree, watching Edward twirl Rachel on the dance floor, their movements still graceful after 15 years together. But maybe we deserve peace, both of us. He follows my gaze to where Rachel and Edward laugh together, their happiness untainted by the past. I'm filing for divorce, he says quietly. Not because of today, but because I finally see clearly. That's a start. Later, as Thomas and I prepare to leave for our honeymoon, I catch one last glimpse of Walter. He's sitting alone at a table, watching the dancers with a thoughtful expression. The empty chair beside him doesn't look lonely anymore, it looks like possibility. Jessica catches my eye as we head for the exit. Happy ending? She asks, the friend who stood by me through gallery openings and heartbreaks alike. I think about the letter, about Walter's empty chair beside him, about Rachel in Edward's arms, love that grew from broken pieces. Not an ending, I say, feeling 48 years of perspective settle into wisdom. Just a better beginning. Sometimes revenge isn't about making others hurt the way you hurt, sometimes it's about breaking free of the pain altogether, about choosing joy instead of bitterness. And sometimes, if you're lucky, others find their way out of the darkness too, following the light you've left behind. As Thomas and I drive away from the gallery, my hand in his, I feel truly free for the first time in decades. At 48, my life isn't just beginning, it's finally, truly mine.